Well, this is an episode speaking about charm. This is the second part of a two-part series on this idea of charm, how important it is. Now, today I want to talk about 10 steps to becoming more charming. Now, keep in mind, we talked about in the first episode, if you missed it, the idea that charm is not a bad thing, charm is a good thing. It's important, of course, that it's subject to character development, so we want to become all God's made us to be. At the same time, that does not mean that charm's not important. We read about how in Luke 2, that the Bible says in Luke 2:52 that Jesus grew in wisdom and favor with God and man. That favor has to do with the idea of charm. That is, that he was just an attractive personality. He had a dynamic persona. And God can use us in very interesting ways. And I think it's something that we can do. We can cultivate that type of thing in order to get favor with people. Now the question is, how can we get more favor with people? How can we develop charm if we were going to contribute and put effort in our own personality? Well, 10 quick ways to be more charming. Number one, first, charming people are genuinely interested in other people. They assume that other people have value and that they have a fascinating side of them that we want to discover. That's the first part of charm. In other words, charm is really making it about the other person. It's about thinking about how that person has something amazing, that God has made them in His image, and that they have something amazing to discover, and we want to know about that. I think that is really, really critical. So people that are charming look at other people and think about those values. Number two, assume rapport. In other words, rapport is when we have a connection with people. I think a lot of times we meet people and we say, I hope this works out. I hope the person gets me. I hope that they're nice. I hope that whatever. Why not assume that the person's going to like you? Why not assume that this person is going to just think that you are really, really an interesting person, and that when you get with them, that you say, I just know that I'm going to like them. And if you take that into it, you too will become more charming. I think the third thing would be smile and laugh easily. Charming people do that. Charming people laugh. People love a smile. People love to see a smile. People love to see people laugh. And the more easily we laugh, the more we allow just the laughter and the goodness of life that God gives us, even despite all the challenges. I think that's a person that becomes a very charming person because people want to be around that. Which leads me to my fourth one. Fourth charming principle is freely giving compliments and, important, graciously receiving them. In other words, yes, give compliments and do it so easily to other people. We want to get that and they want to have that. But also, when they honor you, also be reciprocating and allow that to stick and say, thank you, and be gracious about that. Number five, being more charming, self-deprecation and the ability to laugh easily at oneself. I think that's important. In other words, don't be so serious. We need to learn to laugh at ourselves, and self-deprecating humor, meaning just allowing us to be the brunt of jokes sometimes. I think that's important. I think it wears well. I think people like that. So that's an important part of charm, and allowing ourselves to be made a little bit of fun of. Number six is learn to observe people and listen to people. People want to be heard. They want to know that you are paying attention, that you're focused on them, that you're attentive to them. And I think that focusing on them, not on ourselves, is a really important key of charm. Because when people think you like them, they like you back. So that's charming. Number seven, treat people with loving kindness and personal respect or honor. When we love people, when we extend honor to them and respect to them, people absolutely, they can't help but like us, okay? Because we are showing them that we care. We're giving ourselves to them. So I think that is a really important and critical thing on becoming a more charming person. And I would say 8 out of 10, remember 10 principles of being more charming. 8, I would say, is realize that you are always communicating. Whether it's verbally or non-verbally, we are always unwittingly sending signals to other people. And people are always watching us. So the thing is, if we can realize that, in a way, we're always on stage. In a way, we're in a fishbowl. And I know that's hard. I don't think that we like that all the time. But the fact is, just realize that people are taking in cues that we're giving verbal cues, nonverbal cues, and just realize, you know what? I just need to make sure that I'm sending off the right signal, because if I'm giving the right cues like that, verbally and non-verbally, people will pick up the positive message and they'll make better assumptions about me and they'll just want to be around me. Number 9 of 10, being more charming, is accept and magnify your uniqueness. God made us all unique, right? But reject the temptation to compare yourself either favorably or unfavorably toward other people. God made only one of you. And it's easy for us to feel bad about ourselves and compare unfavorably other people toward ourselves, or overfavor other people in contrast to ourselves and make ourselves not feel as good about ourselves. Look, accept yourself for who you are, accept others for who they are, and then just let God allow that unconditional acceptance to help them feel honored by you, and they will be more and more attracted to you. 10th and finally, make a decision. Just say, you know what? I want to become a person that has charm. Make a decision to project an aura of positivity by just becoming an emotional thermostat. You know, a lot of people are emotional thermometers, okay? You say, well, what do you mean by that? Remember, a thermometer takes the temperature. A thermometer reads the temperature. A thermometer reflects the temperature. Sometimes people, they reflect temperature. In other words, they look around themselves and see what's going on, and then they reflect that and they say, okay, everyone's down, so I'm going to be down. Everyone's negative, I'm going to be negative. And they let other people affect their persona. Instead of being a thermometer, how about in your area of charm being a thermostat? A thermostat is when you're in a room and you want the room to be colder, so you set the thermostat on a certain temperature, and then everything in the room either warms up or cools off according to the temperature of that thermometer. In other words, what I'm saying is, you are the one who sets the pace. You should be the one that sets the temperature. And as we think about being more charming, we should say, you know what? I will impose the temperature and I will create a charming environment, one of fun, one of joy, one of warmth, one of deference to other people, one of honor, one of joy, one of happiness. And when we do these types of things, these 10 simple principles, what happens is people say, you know what, they're trying. This is a person that, you know, they know that life's hard for all of us. But when they see that a person is extending themselves to other people and working hard to embrace and engage other people and to give them their very best, I think that people appreciate that. And then because we have given that off to them, they then give it back to us in return. And they reciprocate our charm to them by being charming back to us. Well, this is a very, very short mini 2-part series. It was something I was doing a while back because I was studying this issue of charm. And I began thinking about how, you know what, a lot of people could maybe use this. I could use this. So I wanted to do this first as a way to speak to myself and also to speak to you and to say to you that God has made each of us amazing, interesting people. He has made one of us, one of a kind. We're truly unique. In fact, the scriptures say in Ephesians 2:10 that we are God's workmanship. And what that means is, literally the Greek word is poema. That is, we are his poem. That's where the worded poem comes from. So we are God's poem. We are his masterpiece. And in that way, God has made you unique. And as a unique person, there's no one like you. Be exactly who God made you. Let him love you. Let him love others through you. And as you do these types of things, people will find your love and your acceptance infectious, and they will want to be around you, and you will become the person that everyone wants to be with. And what that does then, it gives you opportunities with those walls broken down, whether it's you succeeding in life, succeeding in opportunities in business and ministry and so on and so forth, but also it's the opportunity for then that love to reach out to other people and God's love to reach into their life because they look at you and see you as an unconditionally accepting person. And then that gives you an opportunity for you to talk about the things that mean most to you, and maybe, just maybe, an opportunity to share your faith. Thanks so much for listening. This is Podcast Seminary. I'm the Dean, Freddie Cardoza.